Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Good morning, online. Hi, good morning. Okay, so I hope everyone are doing good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So um, let's jump on. What did we discuss in our last class? Ready for quick shootout? What is the full form of EC2? Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud. And what is the definition of EC2? EC2 is a web service from AWS that provides resizable compute services in the cloud. What is the concept? Resizable. Resizable meaning what here? Scale out, scale in, scale up, scale down. So how many hours are free? 750 hours. When the EC2 instance launched, that means when it is in running state, is it bill or not bill? Bill. When it is stop, no bill. Terminate, no bill. Okay. And AWS will charge the EC2 instances per every hour. Per every hour. Okay. And then also we have something called, we learned about pricing models. How many pricing models are there? 7 pricing models, right? So what are those? Number 1, on demand, reserved, spot, dedicated in host, dedicated instances, capacity reservation, and savings plan. So which is fixed price? On demand. Fixed price is on demand. Fixed price and then pay as you go model, right? And do you have any commitment there? And any upfront payments? Any predictable usage? No. So which one is having commitments and upfront payments? Reserved. And how many years you need to commit? 1 or 3 years. 1 or 3 years. And how much discount that you get? 72, up to 72%. It's not direct 72, up to 72% you get. Okay. And here predictable usage or not? Yes, it is predictable. And there are 2 models inside it. What are those? Standard RI and convertible RI. Standard RI and convertible RI. The standard RI is 72%, convertible RI is 66%. And which is when we do use, if you want to change the instance, like for flexible instances. Anything related to auctioning and bidding, spot. So this is a cost-effective model or not? And how much discount that you get? Up to 90%. But main important thing, do you have your this EC2 instance permanently? No, you can lose the machines anytime. And you want to have a dedicated machine. Which one is that? Dedicated host. Which one? Dedicated host. So which is the tendency that we are using? Shared or dedicated? Shared. We are using here shared. Is it good to go for dedicated? No. If any companies has very dedicated companies. So dedicated applications which is very confidential and secure. So in that case, we'll go for dedicated one. And then also we learned about if you need it, and do you have control on the placements? Where in dedicated host? Yes. But in dedicated instances, you don't have control, but still your EC2 instance is dedicated. And if you want to reserve the capacity, then capacity reservation. And last one is savings plan. And then later we have discussed about instance types. Instance type is a combination of CPU and memory. Which is the instance type that we should be using in our codes? Louder. Louder. T2 micro. Guys, T2 micro is also free. T3 micro is also free. Say that. T2 micro, T3. Which one is latest? T2 or T3? You're all having fresh new accounts or old accounts? New accounts. So old accounts like me has T2 micro. New accounts for you has T3 micro. Right? Anything micro is free for you. Good. Okay. And what is scalability? Scale up, scale down. So, and how do you achieve the scalability? By changing the instance type. When you change the instance type, data is lost? No. Why? Data is stored in EBS volumes. So if you stop and start EC2 instance, data is lost. No, because the data is sitting inside the EBS volumes. Good. Okay. And yeah. Is it possible to change the instance type while EC2 is running? Is it possible to change the instance type while EC2 is running? Answer is no. We cannot change it because you need to stop the EC2 instance and then change it. Okay. All right. And then also, if you want, let's say, for example, you have EC2 instance, and it has only 2 CPUs. How many CPUs? 2 CPUs. And in the runtime, they are having problems with the performance. So in the runtime, if you want to increase the CPUs, so what is the concept that you use? Burstable performance instances. Or in other words, we call it as what? Credit specification. Say that? Credit space. Is it billable or free? Billable. Okay. So this is what we have learned in our last class. Let's move on to today's wonderful topic. Today's topic is, we already learned a little bit. So that is EBS volumes. What are those? EBS volumes. I'll ask quick questions on EBS volumes. We have learned, right, in overview. Yes. What are hard disks called? Volumes. What are hard disks called here? Volumes. And then what is the default volume that you get? Root volume. What's the default volume that you get? Root volume. What does the root volume contains? OS. How many root volume you can have per machine? 1. And what are the rest of the volumes called? Additional volumes. What are the rest of the volumes? Additional volumes. What does the additional volume contains? Data. What is the default size of Windows? 30 GB. Linux? 8 or 10 GB. And what is the maximum size of EBS volume? Very good. How much? 16 terabyte. And volume size can be increased on fly or not? Volume size can be increased on fly. But is it possible to decrease? Answer is no. Okay. So we have learned these EBS volumes in our overview. Now, let's go one level up. Level up. I directly told you that about the EBS volumes. But now, let's talk about volumes. Let's talk about here what? Volumes. No. Volumes are, oh, excited. Huh? Okay, fine, Abhiram. Volumes are classified into 2 types. Not root volume, additional volume. No. Volumes are classified into 2 types. We call it as number 1, which we have already learned. Which one? EBS volumes. And another one is instance store volume. Say that. In shortcut, I call it as ISV. Say that. One more time. So volumes are classified into how many types? 2 types. What are those? EBS volumes and then instance store volumes. Second one is important, new one. Which one is that? Instance store volumes. In shortcut, call it as what? ISV. So what is the difference between these two? You know about EBS volumes, right? Can you tell me these EBS volumes are persistent storage or not persistent storage? What is the meaning of persistent? permanent. What's the meaning of persistent? Permanent. So meaning of persistent here is permanent. That meaning if you launch one EC2 instance, automatically you get the EBS volumes or not. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost. That is called permanent. That meaning persistent. So our EBS volumes are persistent or not? EBS volumes are persistent. And if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost here in EBS volume? Answer is no. What is the maximum size of the EBS volume? 16 terabyte. So here, this is what is a persistent. Persistent meaning here permanent. And then data is lost here. Data is not lost. And what is the maximum size that you get here? 16 terabyte. And EBS is free or billable? How much is free? 30 GB. Processing will take time, no? So how much is free for you? For Windows, how much it is free for you? 30 GB. And for Linux, how much it is free? 8 or 10 GB. Apart from that, if you try to increase 1 GB also, it is billable. That is very cheap. It's not that much. Okay. That is about EBS volume. We know already. Now, let's talk about which one here, Nana? Instant store volumes. What is that? Instant store volumes. So here, this guy is persistent and this guy is not persistent. What is that? Not persistent meaning what? Temporary. Not persistent meaning here what? Temporary volumes. That meaning, if you stop and start, what will happen? Data is lost or not lost? Data is lost. And whenever it says temporary meaning it is temporary. Okay, don't write this. Don't write all this. This is rough. I wrote nicely here for you. I'll share the screenshots, right? So Aram se listen the class. Don't write in the class. Listen. So instant store volumes. So instant store volumes are permanent or temporary? Temporary. If we stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost or not lost? Data is lost. And these instant store volumes are free. Instant store volumes are free. Instant store volumes are free. So whenever we say free, the first question you guys will ask is, generally everyone is, how much is free, sir? Yes or no? How much is free? So here, instant store volumes are free completely. I'll talk about how much it is. And the another name of instant store volume is, say that, read it. Huh? Imperial? No. Which one is? What is here? Ephemeral storage. Say that. M silent. Ephemeral storage. So because when I was in interview, I was asking the question. I took a joke from there. I asked, what is the another name of instant store volume? And he said Imperial Blue. He didn't it was there in his mouth, but he turned something else based on his habit, maybe. Right? So what is here? It is not Imperial. It is what? Ephemeral. What is that? Ephemeral storage. This is also another question here. So certification question. Ephemeral storage. Okay, fine. So let's keep aside this instance store volume for some time and let's talk more about EBS volume. We know that EBS volume is persistent. That meaning permanent. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost. Answer is not lost. Let us go deeper into this EBS volume now. Then in EBS volume, we have different types of volumes. What are those? Different types. There are different types of volumes. Those are, I call it as general purpose. Say that. Provisioned IOPS. Say that. Throughput cold magnetic. Say that. Say that one more time with me. General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold and magnetic. One more time. General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold and magnetic. See here. Don't see the paint. See me and tell me. What are those? General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold and magnetic. One more time. General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold and magnetic. Understood, no? So we have how many types are there here? 5 types. How many types of EBS volumes are there? 5 types. So another time, general purpose, read it. General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. So there are different types. In this also we have something called online. You need to say with me also, okay, when I'm saying with offline. So here we call it as GP2, GP3. Say that. In general purpose, we have 2 types. What are those? GP2, GP3. So here also in provisioned IOPS, we have IO1, IO2. Say that. Throughput, we call it as ST1. Say that. ST1. And then cold, SC1. And then last one is standard. So we know that how many types are there? 5 types. What are those? General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. Registered? Okay. Now in this also we have different types. In general purpose, how many types are there? 2 types. What are those? GP2, GP3. Provisioned IOPS, two types. What are those? IO1, IO2. Next ST1, next SC1 standard. Difficult to remember, easy to remember. Then I will not say shortcut then. Okay, now tell me without looking, what are the different types? Not general purpose. Shortcuts, tell me. One eye on me, one eye on paint. Like this. Okay, so, but I'll make it even more easier for you. Okay. Good that you remember by seeing me itself. I'll just even more register in your brains. Let's sing a song. Let's sing a song. Sing with me. Say, started coughing, huh? Okay, say with me now. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1, standard. Again, GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1, standard. One more time. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1, standard. You repeat. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1, standard. Remember, right? So now if you want to remember this EBS volume, sing this song. You will automatically remember. Okay, fine. Anna. Good. So in general purpose, how many types we have? GP2 and then GP3. And this is SSD. Say that. What is SSD? Solid state drive or disk. So generally, whatever the laptops and mobile phones, are you using HDD or SSD? SSD. Which one is faster? So these two are SSDs and rest are all HDDs. Rest all what none in here? HDD. So by seeing like this, can you tell me which one are faster volumes? General purpose and provisioned IOPS. So that meaning in that case, what we say? GP2, GP3, I1, IO2. These are what? Faster. So sir, compared to in these 4, which one are super faster? I call it as provisioned IOPS. Say that. If someone asks you which one is super fast volumes, super speed, which one you should say? IO1, IO2. So the question here is, sir, what is the full form of IOPS? What is that? What's the full form of IOPS? Input, output per second. Say that. Input, output per second. Tell me how many inputs. So basically on the hard disk, input, outputs will happen, right? We are talking about what? Volumes. Volumes meaning what? Hard disk. On the hard disk, what will happen? Input will happen. That means write will happen. Output meaning read will happen. So how many times speed input output is happening, that much performance high you will get. Yes or no? Yes or no? How many inputs output is happening on the volume, that much performance that you get. So how much you increase the number of IOPS, performance will increase or not? Yes or no? How much IOPS you increase, that much performance also will get increased. So here, which one are IOPS configurable? That meaning we need to give the number. How much IOPS that you need? 1000, 2000, 10,000, 30,000, maximum 80,000. How much you give? Let's say, for example, if you give 5,000, super speed. 10,000, super speed. 20,000, super speed. Like this, if you keep on increasing, your performance will be increased or not. Parallelly, bill also will increase. Parallelly what? Bill. If you increase the number of IOPS, performance also increase, bill also increase. Very important. Without knowing all these things in real time, people are selecting, and it will mention, please provide IOPS values. They will think 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 put, 10,000 put. If you put 10,000, what will happen? Next month, a bill will come. Right? So for that reason, and now question here is, which one are IOPS values configurable? Which one are those? Which one are those? IO1, IO2, and GP3. Say that. IO1, IO2, GP3. These three are IOPS configurable. Configurable meaning we need to input the IOPS values. Now tell me, which volumes are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2, and GP3. IO1, IO2, and GP3 are which one? IOPS configurable. IOPS configurable. Is this clear? Getting it? Getting it, guys? Okay, now. And also I told you, the more you input the IOPS values, the more bill you get. Agree? Agree? Online, you're getting it? Yeah. And also for Windows, which we have two types of operating system. What are those? Windows and Linux. Whenever you launch Windows EC2 instance, Nana, root volume, what is the default volume that you get? Root volume. And that root volume also should be this one of the type or not? The root volume also should be one of this type. And the root volume default type for Windows is GP2. Which one? For Linux it is GP3. Say that. Windows GP2. Linux GP3. Again, Windows GP2. Linux GP3. Which one are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2, and GP3. GP2 is IOPS configurable? No. But, sir, which one is the most commonly used here? GP2. GP2 and also GP3. For Linux, it is GP3. For Windows, it is GP2. Sir, GP3 IOPS values we can provide. How about for GP2, sir? For GP2, AWS will give you automatically 1:3 ratio. What ratio? 1:3. That meaning for 1 GB, automatically AWS is providing how many IOPS? 3 IOPS. If you provide 100 GB, 300. So automatically, based on how much, let's say C drive, you're using how much GB? 30 GB. So for 30 GB, how much IOPS that you get? 90. If it is 300, 9. Like this, it is 1:3 ratio. Automatically you get. And now question for you here is, GP2 has default IOPS or not? How much? How much ratio? 1:3 ratio. Is it IOPS configurable? No. Who is giving this IOPS? AWS is providing by default. Getting it? Online, you're getting it now? Okay, now, what is the default volume that you get? Root volume. What is the default volume that you get? Root volume. And that root volume should be, what is the default root volume that for Windows? GP2. For Linux, GP3. But root volume, what are the volumes that it support is GP2, GP3, I1, IO2, and standard. So the question here is, root volume supports which volume types? Say with me. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2 and standard. So root volume support ST1, SC1? No. Root volume doesn't support ST1 and SC1. Root volume supports which one? GP2, GP3, I1, IO2 and standard. And how about additional volume? Additional volume supports all types. Additional volume supports all types. And one volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? No. Remember, in ORV we have learned one volume cannot be attached to multiple EC2 instances. But on that day I put star mark. Remember? On that day I put star mark. I told you that we will talk about this later again. So the time has come now. One volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. Answer is yes. Now yes. That to which type? IO1, IO2. Which one? IO1, IO2 types can be multi-attached. How many EC2 instances you can attach? Maximum 16. How many? 16 EC2 instances you can attach. Which volumes? IO1, IO2. Can I tell this on that day, this IO1, IO2? No, because I need to talk about all these things, right? So this is all about EBS volumes. Now, you feel that, sir, a lot of things, sir, difficult to remember, right? So let me tell you, I have already, without knowing, I've already injected in your brains now. Okay? Don't shake your head. Don't shake your head. Let me ask the answers, questions, you will answer it. Okay? Ready? Let's see. Online, ready? Volumes are classified into two types. What are those? EBS volumes and instance store volumes. EBS volume, instance store volume. Don't look at the paint. Look at me. Look into my eyes. And which one are permanent? EBS volume. Which one are temporary? ISV volumes. And then what is the maximum size of EBS volume? 16 terabyte. Instance store volumes are billable or free? Instance store volumes. Instance store volumes are free. What is the another name of instance store volumes? Ephemeral storage. Say that, ephemeral storage. Now let's come to EBS volume. In EBS volume, we have different types or not? Can you tell me the names? General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. Can you tell me the shortcuts of it? Sing that song. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, standard. Remember. Now, which is the default volume for Windows? GP2. Which is the default volume for Linux? GP3. And then what is the full form of IOPS? Input output per second. Which volumes are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2 and GP3. GP2 is IOPS configurable? No. GP2 already has a default ratio. How much is that? 1:3 ratio. 1:3 ratio. And root, how much IOPS that you put, that much performance will increase and also bill will increase. Root volume supports which volume types? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, standard, except ST1, SC1, except ST1, SC1. Additional volume supports all types. And which volume types can be multi-attached? IO1, IO2. Completed? You feel that we learned too much, but it's already injected in your brain. Okay? Injected in your brain without pain. That's why people call me doctor. Okay, fine. Is it clear on the EBS type, EBS volumes? Okay, now, instance store volumes. When you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost or not lost? Data is lost. Instance store volumes are free or not? What's the another name of instance store volumes? Ephemeral storage. Now I'm asking one certification question. I want you to answer it. Certification question. Listen carefully. If you terminate the EC2 instance, what is that? If you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume will be deleted or not? What is your answer? Yes, sir, no. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, mixed feelings. Mixed feelings, huh? Yeah. Yes, of course, some people say yes, some people say no. I want to see the ratio here, offline people. How many of you say yes? Raise your hands. Rest all no. Okay, very few people yes. Hmm. I don't answer it. I'll put the scenarios. You answer. Huh? You answer. See here. What is the question? Okay, let's say I have launched EC2 instances. Let's check how many? 4. How many are there? Why only 4? No space. Yeah. And then for this, we have what? What volume is that? So my question here is, I have launched 4 EC2 instances. I worked inside it. My job is done. What I did now, I terminated the what? EC2 instances. I terminated EC2 instance. Once I terminate the EC2 instance, can you tell me these root volumes will be deleted or not deleted automatically by default? If I terminate the EC2 instance, root volumes will be deleted or not deleted? Okay, if you say not deleted, how many root volumes are there now? What will you do with this? You'll take home? What will you do with this? I launch 100 machines now. How many root volumes will be there? What will you do with that? Abhibolo, backup? What will you do? In real time, I will be launching so many EC2 instances. Testing purpose, I launch. My testers are there. They have launched 10 machines for testing purpose. Testing is done and they terminated it. And 10 root volumes will be there or not? As per your answer, you said yes. So what is the answer here? Yes or no? So deleted, not deleted? Deleted. What is that here? Deleted. Remember, Nara, because that's a root volume. Where do you store the data? Root volume or additional volume? Where do you store the data? Additional volume. What does the root volume contain? OS. What does the root volume contain? OS. What does the additional volume contain? Data. So, do you keep the data in your root volume? Where do you keep the data? In additional volume. So, if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume will be deleted. Because the reason is there is one small checkbox, small option. There is an option called delete on termination. Say that. Delete on termination. What's the meaning of delete on termination? When you terminate, it will delete. So this is enabled by default. Which one? For which one? Root volumes. For which one? Root volume. That's why whenever you terminate the EC2 instance, automatically root volume is also deleted. Why? Option. What is that option? Read it. Delete on termination is enabled. Say that. Delete on termination is enabled. Now question, I'm repeating the question. If you terminate the EC2 instance, root volumes will be deleted or not? Answer is yes. Why? Delete on termination is enabled. Now your manager said, hey, if I terminate the EC2 instance, I don't want my EC2 instance to be deleted. What will you do? Delete on termination, disable it. If you disable it, if you terminate the EC2 instance, root volume will be deleted. No, by default, it will be deleted. Another one. If you terminate the EC2 instance, additional volume will be deleted or not deleted? No, because what we have? Data. Why delete on termination is not enable or disable? Okay. Clear, guys? Online? By the way, which is the instance type that we should be using in our codes? Follow. If you say, how do I understand? Right? What is the instance type that we should be using it? T2 micro. Yesterday, someone asked the question at the end of the class. I forgot to answer that. And someone asked, sir, in real time, which one is commonly used? So guys, remember, if you go to the real time in the companies, and if your manager asked, hey, please go and launch T2 large. Please go and launch T2 large. Don't say to that manager that, hey, my RIA sir told only to launch T2 micro. Don't dare to ask me to launch T2 large. Sir told only to launch only T2 micro. If you fire me also, I don't mind. I launch only T2 micro. Guys, so don't be like this because T2 micro is free now for you. You want Billa? No Billa. As you don't want bill, that's the reason why which instance type that we are using here? T2 micro or T3 micro. In real time, we will not be using T2 micro because in real time, we have actual applications will be there. So T2 micro has how much GB RAM? 1 GB RAM. How much your phone has? 4 GB RAM, no? Your phone has 4 GB RAM. Your EC2 instance will have 1 GB RAM in real time. No, right? For that reason, in real time, so we'll be going more than T2 micro, maybe medium, large, X large, depend upon the requirement. If any interviewer asks which one you are using, you should say depend upon the requirement. So if you forcefully ask which one you are using in your company, then say T2 large or T2 X large, whichever you feel like. But don't say, if you say T2 micro, he'll laugh. Definitely. Okay, good. Okay, so this interview certification questions is clear. Again, I'm asking, please answer fatafat. Okay, don't lag it. If you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume is deleted or not? Answer is deleted. Why? Delete on termination is enabled. If you terminate the EC2 instance, additional volume is deleted or not? No. Why? Delete on termination is not enabled. Fantastic. Okay. Anytime you can check and check, right? It's up to you. If you don't want root volume should not be deleted, disable it. Okay, next I said instance store volumes are free. Instance store volumes are free. The question is how much? So guys, here we cannot create instance store volumes. Say that. We cannot create instance store volumes. AWS will provide automatically instance store volumes. Because how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7 steps. In that 7 steps, we need to select instance type or not. Which is the instance type we are selecting? T2 micro. T2 micro is very small one. But if you go for bigger ones, AWS will attach the volumes for free, how much ever he want. It can be 500 GB, 1000 GB, 2000 GB, 5000 GB. It is completely free. As it is free, please don't get tempted to use it because instance store volumes data is temporary. So if you pusuku stop and start, data is lost. Data is lost. So we can use it, but keep in mind if you put the data, please use it for what purpose? Temporary purpose, not for permanent. Okay. So now tell me how much is free? Can we say that? But I'll telling you, keep that in your back of your mind. When time comes, I'll tell. AWS is providing by default 80 GB. How much? Don't tell to anyone. Huh? How much? 80 GB. We'll talk later on it. Okay. When time comes, we'll talk. Yeah. Is it clear till here, everyone? Online, CC? By the way, see here. If EBS volume, if you stop and start, data is lost? No. If you reboot, data is lost? No. Here in instance store volume, if you stop and start, data is lost? Lost. If you reboot, data is lost? Data is lost? I will say not lost. Why? Do you want to know? Generally, if you stop and start, data is lost or not? Reboot also generally should be lost or not? So if you want to know, this is the advanced topic. Should I tell you or not? Ready to take it? Okay. So before that, this is what I have written for you. already. We'll take later. So now, do you see volumes are classified into how many types, Anna? 2 types. What are those? EBS volume, instance storage. Shortcut to ISV. This one is persistent. This one is not persistent. If you stop and start, data is not lost. Here, data is lost. How much size here maximum? 16 terabyte. And billable or not? So here it is completely free. What is the another name? Ephemeral storage. Do you remember here? GP2, GP3, I1, IO2, ST1, SC1 standard? SSD meaning solid state drive. HDD meaning hard disk drive. This is faster and this is slower. Full form of IOPS, input output per second. What's the default volume for Windows? GP2. Linux, GP3. Which one are IOPS configurable? I1, I2 and GP3. The more IOPS that you give, the more IOPS that you give, we get more performance and bill also. So which one? The GP2 has how many IOPS? 1:3. So root volume support which volume types? GP2, GP3, I1, I2 standard. And root volume support ST1, SC1? No. Additional volume supports all type. Which one is multi-attached? I1, I2 is multi-attached. How many machines? 16 machines. If you terminate the EC2 by default, root volume is deleted or not deleted? Deleted. Why? Delete on termination is enabled. Additional volume is not deleted. Why? It is disabled or not enabled. So based on the instance type that you select, mostly big instance type, you will get the instance or volume attached automatically by AWS for free. And reboot, data is lost or not lost. So let us see here why it is not lost. Okay. Fine. I assume this is host machines. What is this? Host machines. What does the host machine contain at the bottom? Hardware. On top of it, hypervisor. This is host machine or not? This is a host machine handled by AWS. So this here you have hardware here, hypervisor, here also hypervisor. Okay, listen carefully. So now if you want to launch an EC2 instance will be launched on top of here. Yes or no? EC2 instance will be launched here or not? Before I go here, this is a host machine and host machine also has a hard disk or not? Yes or no? Yes, definitely. Every machine will have a hard disk. And this guy also has a hard disk here. Hard disk. Carefully listen. Okay. So we have launched an EC2 instance here. And what does the EC2 instance contain? Volume. Which volume is this? Root volume. So volumes meaning here EBS volumes or not? EBS volume is a central storage or not, guys? EBS volume is a central storage. Listen carefully. So I told you in overview, if you want volumes, what you do? Create it and then attach it. What's that? Create it and then attach it. Yes or no? So where do we create? In the EBS volume that is centrally stored. So that is central storage where you create the volumes and then attach it. But creating the volumes are in EBS. So what you did here, you created a volume here. Nana. See, you created a volume and automatically AWS will attach to it or not here? Yes. But indirectly, where are the volumes? In the EBS. Correct? AWS is following one rule in the backend. AWS is following a rule. You know what is that rule? First, let me teach that rule. Stop and start. EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. If you stop and start, what will happen? EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. Stop and start, what will happen? Jump. Okay. Next. reboot, no jump. If you reboot, jumpa, no jumpa, no jump. So this is the rule that AWS is following. So I'm saying this is EBS and this is ISV, how it will behave. Let's see. See, Nana, here, listen carefully. So this is EC2. This is EC2. So now what I did, I stopped this machine and I started. What will happen? Louder. Louder. Online, what will happen? Jump. From where to where? From here to here. So here to here. It will jump. The same EC2 instance will jump. Okay. Fine. Now, as it is jumped, can you tell me my volume is situated centrally or not? Simply the pointer will change to this. Yes or no? I'm sitting here. You're all looking at me. Now I go and sit that place. So what will do? Just I'll be just moving, right? So but it's available for everyone or not? So similarly here, the volumes are here centrally created. So just it is moving from one place to another way. But the pointer will be same or not? Pointer will be same. Now tell me, as it is jumped from one host to another host, data is lost or not lost? Louder. Louder. Not lost. So data is not lost. So stop and start. Jump will happen. Data is lost or not lost? Not lost. Data is not lost. Good. That is why for EBS volume, if you stop and start, data is not lost. Okay, reboot. Data is lost, not lost. Not lost. Why? Jumpa, no jumpa. So it is still here. For EBS volume, there is any differences? If I reboot, no. So data is not lost. That's why I said for EBS volume, if you stop and start, data is not lost. Reboot, data is not lost. Clear? Now, let's coming to which one? ISV. Which one here? ISV. Instance store volume. Same. What I did now, I went and launched EC2 instance. I went and launched EC2 instance here. Okay. And for this, I'll be attaching which one? EBS or instance store volume? Instance store volume. Nana, when I use instance store volumes, but is it possible for me to attach or AWS to attach? Is it possible for us to create? So when you select instance store volumes, what will happen is a local hard disk is there, no? A piece of the hard disk will be attached here. Little bit size will be attached. This is local storage or not? Yes or no? Local storage or not? Listen carefully. Local storage. So now let's take our formula. Now this machine stopped, started. What will happen? Jumpa, no jumpa. So it will jump from here to here. Now tell me, the EC2 instance has jumped from here to here. Now tell me, this hard disk will jump to here to here. Huh? That is physical hard disk, right? So whatever the data that you have here, when the EC2 instance jumped here, data is lost or not lost? Lost. That's why I said data is lost. Data is lost. And a fresh hard disk will be attached here or not for this? Yes. But if you reboot, jumpa, no jumpa, no jump, the still hard disk data is available or not? For that reason, I said reboot data is not lost. You see the logic? You don't get this in any documentation. Experienced people knows this. And got it right, everyone? And I'll tell you one small twist, not twist, hint that we used to do. Now tell me, AWS will do the maintenances. What is that? AWS will do the maintenance for the host machines. Which machines? Host. So if the AWS is doing the host machines maintenance, whichever the EC2 is that you have inside that will be also under maintenance or not? AWS will send you a notification. Remember Ghanta symbol on top. So their notification will be sent saying that, hey Babu, your EC2 instance will be in the maintenance on the particular day. Let's say next month on 15th. What will you do? Will you wait for till 15th or what else we do here? Can you just think and tell me? what will you do? What will you do? What I do is, huh? How do we know, sir? What I used to do is, I will just stop and start the EC2 instance. If I stop and start, what will happen? Jump to another host. Is this host under maintenance? So I'll skip the maintenance completely. Maintenance is on the host machine, not for the EC2 instance. So what I'll do, I'll simply stop and start. I'll jump from one host to another host. I don't have the maintenance anymore. I don't need to wait even for next month 15th. Understood here? But in any case, if you terminate the EC2 instance, what is that? If you terminate the EC2 instance, data is lost or not lost? Data is lost. Anywhere data is lost. Is it clear? Online, is this clear till here, everyone? CC? Super. So when I ask CC, all the guys or the online, please put CC, because based on your CCs only, I'll be moving forward. Okay? Good. Super CC. Okay, nice. Fine enough. Both will not be under maintenance. EC2 is just a virtual machine, right? If every time we stop inside, jump to another host, maximum it will do, Ritesh. But do we need to worry about that? No need to worry. Okay, fine. So now we have something. No, we go and launch EC2 instance. What do? We go and launch EC2 instance. We'll select that. How many steps are there? 7 steps. You select everything, and button will be launch instance will be there. When you click on launch instance, who will launch EC2 instance? AWS will launch. We will trigger. We will click. But who will help to create it? AWS. So AWS will launch the EC2 instance, and AWS will do 2 checks. AWS will do what? 2 checks. We call it as instance. We have 2 status check. How many status check? 2 status checks are there. Number 1, we call it as instance status check. Say that. And system status check. Say that. Instance status check, system status check. Instance status check meaning it will check the hardware, whether EC2 instance properly launched or not. AWS will do the checks. Do we do or AWS? AWS will do that. Okay, I have launched set up EC2 instance for him. That EC2 instance hardware is properly working or not. That will be checked by instance status check. Another one is system status check, whether the IP address correct. Software checks, it will check the software. One is hardware, another one is software. Now tell me, these 2 checks will be done by whom? AWS. And these 2 checks should be pass or fail. Pass. If these 2 checks are passed, then only you can log into the EC2 instance. Yes or no? If any of the status check is failed, can you log into the EC2 instance? If instance status check fail, can you log in? If system status check fail, can you log in? So 100% 2/2. How many checks are there? 2/2 checks are passed. Then only you should be able to log in. Otherwise, you cannot log in. So, Nana, just in case if you get 1/2, how much? Or 0/2. Can you log in? Cannot log in. Let's say you launch one EC2 instance. Pusuk, you got 1/2. What will you do? What will you do? You launched. And you got 1/2. What will you do? Recheck. What? We cannot recheck. Huh? Oh, region change? No. You launch one EC2 instance. Think normally. You launch one EC2 instance, you get 1/2. What will you do? Can you log into the machine? And what do you do? What will you do? Delete and think normally. Don't think like this. Think normally, right? So what we do is we will delete the EC2 instance. That means terminate the EC2 instance and then relaunch. But if you have data inside it, what is that? Stop and start. You said it correctly, but you didn't know the logic. What will happen? Nana, when you launch the EC2 instance, it might sit on one of the host machine. Maybe the host machine is not proper. That's why EC2 instance didn't launch properly. If you stop and start, what will happen? Jump. When it jump, it will go to the good host machine or not. So if it stop and start, the 2/2 checks will be passed or not. So will you terminate or will you stop and start? Logic. So if you get 1/2 or 0/2, what will you do? Stop and start. Will you terminate? Terminate is not the solution because you have data inside it. Got it? Stop and start. Okay. Online, clear Nana till here? Who will do these checks? AWS. And recently AWS is also doing one more check like EBS volumes check. Which one? When you launch the EC2 instance, root volume will be attached or not? That volume is properly attached or not? AWS will check. In total, how many are there? 3 checks. How many are there? 3 checks. What are those? Instance status check, system status check, volume status check. But by default, you get only 2. By default, you get only. Very rarely you see 3. Okay. Now I'm asking one certification question. Think and answer. Whatever that you get your mind firstly is wrong answer. Remember. Then you will say ulta. I know. Okay, let me ask the question. Which volumes are faster, EBS volume or instance store volumes? Which volumes are faster, instance store volume or EBS volumes? What is the first thing that you got in your mind? EBS, correct? So as I told you ulta, then you say ISV. Answer is correct. So generally everyone will think what EBS volumes are faster. So now EBS volumes are coming from somewhere, right? It is a centralized storage. It is coming through the network and it is getting attached to the EC2 instance. But instance store volume is, local, bottom. And the same machine itself, what we have? Local storage. So which one is faster? EBS volume or instance store volume? Instance store volumes. Because it is local. But the problem you know, right? If you stop and start, data is lost. Stop and start, data is lost. So is it clear? So, but it is good performance. You'll get good performance. But who need to take care of the data? We need to take care of the data. Is it clear, guys, everyone? Online, clear till here, everyone, please. So I have here nicely put everything for you. Don't worry. So because I am not spending time to write. Yesterday I was writing a lot, right? So instead of that, we can learn many things, new things. So I'll keep it before itself and then we'll do it. Is it clear now online, everyone? Offline, clear? Any questions, doubts? Clear now? Okay, all these things, keep it aside. Is patching required on EC2? 100% yes. What is meaning of patching? So you have your Windows updates, all you do, no? So here also for every operating system, patching is required. Can you tell me, patching is responsible by whom? AWS or customer? AWS or customer? So I'll tell you, does the AWS has access inside the machine? Then how is he responsible about patching? Who is responsible now? Customer only. So because operating system is managed in infrastructure as service, customers are responsible for what? OS, application and data. OS, patching everything you will done on OS level only, right? Who is responsible? Customer. So whatever we have learned, so logically we need to point it. Okay, good. Okay, now let's go to another important topic. This is the EC2 instance. What is that? What is this? Root volume. What is this? Listen carefully. This is the EC2 instance. EC2 instance in which availability zone? My volumes also should be in the, this one also. This is root, this is additional. How much is root volume size? This is 30 GB. C drive or not? This is C drive. And let's say this is one, how much GB? Sorry, 50 GB. How much? 50 GB. And what drive is this? T drive. Yes or no? I have this EC2 instance. Now let me ask you a question. In your laptop also you have D drive. Yes or no? Or C drive, wherever. And you have the folder, very important folder. And you want to take the backup. You want to take the backup. What will you do? Generally, there is a folder in your laptop and you feel that you are doing some modifications inside it. So if you want to take the backup before, what will you do? Copy, paste it. Copy and paste it. Where? In the same drive or not? In the same drive or not? So what you do is you copy it, the folder, in the same drive, you will paste it in another place. Yes or no? But what happens if the drive goes down? All your backups are gone or not? All your backups are gone or not? So guys, here, let's talk about backups. Let's talk about backups. So now, what is this? Volume. What is this? Volume. Additional volume. What is this? Root volume has what here? OS. Root volume has OS. So this additional volume has what? Data. So now, if you want to take the backup, what did you copy and paste in the same volume? But what happened if something goes wrong with the volume? All your data is gone or not? So now what you need? You need to take the backup of the volume or not? You need to take the backup of the volume. You need to take the backup of this volume also if required. And if required, if you can also take the backup of root volume. But I'm not talking about root. I'm not talking about additional. I'm talking about volume. It can be root also. It can be additional also. If you want to take the backup of the volume, that is called snapshot. Say that. Say that. Generally, snapshot meaning what? Screenshot. Photo. Photo. Kissing. Huh? Kiss. Huh? Yeah. Snapshot. Which one is that? Snapshot. Snapshot meaning just a photo. Let's take one dual thing. So I'm just giving one pose. So I'm like this. Take a photo. Not no. I'm just saying. Take a photo. So you took a photo. Now I change like this. Take a photo. Can you tell me the second pose will update the first photo? What will you do? Take another photo or not? Yes or no? Now when I like this, I put it like this. So take another photo. So every time that I change the pose, you need to take the photo. Yes or no? Will your old photos will get automatically updated? No, right? Similarly, here also, snapshot. So whenever there is a data is changed. Now let's say for example, I have put the data here ABC. You take a snapshot. Snapshot meaning what, Anna? Okay, let me inject that. Snapshot meaning backup of the volume is called snapshot. Say that. One more time. Siva, both. Backup of the volumes is called snapshot. But here, normal people will say backup of the volume. But rehearsal students will say something good. So what is snapshot meaning? Snapshot is a point in time copy of the volume. Say that. Point in time. At that particular point, at that particular time, whatever the data is there, you are taking the backup. So I'm putting the pose like this. At this point of time, my pose is this, and you took this photo. At this point, now I change the pose. Again, you need to take the photo or not? Similarly here, I have put the data called ABC. I want to take the snapshot. Can I take the snapshot or not? What does the snapshot contain? ABC. Now someone has changed to DF. Again, someone has added here DF. Will this snapshot will get updated? No. What do you need to do? Take another snapshot. This is called point in time snapshot. What is that? So what is snapshot? Point in time copy of the volume. Say that. One more time. Right? So, or simply backup of the volume. Say that. If you want to take the backup of the volume, what is that called? Snapshot. That backups can be, it can be C drive also. That means root volume also. It can be additional volume also. Got it? Okay. What do you have? Volume. What do you have? Volume. From this volume, what are you creating? Snapshot. Say that. You have a volume, EBS volume. From EBS, source is what? EBS volume. From EBS volume, what are you creating? Snapshot. From this snapshot, again, what you can create? Volume. What you can create? Volume. See here. So this is the volume, and you're taking the backup. What is the snapshot? Is the backup. If you want to restore this snapshot, what do you need to do? From this snapshot, again, what you create? Volume. So snapshots are created from volumes. Snapshots are created from volumes. Volumes are created from snapshots. Again, snapshots are created from volumes, and volumes are created from snapshots. So EBS volume, snapshot. Again, EBS volume, snapshot. So if you have a volume, take the backup. That backup is called snapshot. And how to restore it? Create a volume. Can you tell me, can you attach this snapshot to the EC2 instance? Can you attach the snapshot to the EC2 instance? Answer is no. Snapshot is just a backup. You cannot use, you cannot log in, you cannot do anything. Snapshot is just a backup. If you want to use the snapshot, what you need to do? Create a volume out of it. In this volume, you can attach. Getting it? Getting it? Again, I'm asking. So what is snapshot? Point in time copy of the volume is called snapshot. In other words, backup of the volume is called snapshot. So EBS snapshots are created from. EBS snapshots are created from EBS volumes. EBS volumes are created from EBS snapshots. Very good. Can you attach the snapshot directly to the EC2 instance? What do you need to do? Create a, say that, create a volume and then attach to the EC2 instance. Can you log into the snapshots directly? And as these are backups, don't think backups are somewhere kept by AWS. You have done IAM practicals, right? If you click on IAM users, all the users is listing or not? Similarly, if you click on snapshot in EC2, all the snapshots will be visible on the console. Select the snapshot and you have options, create volume out of it. Snapshots are visible from the console or not? Snapshot. But can you tell me, you have IAM users. Where? You have IAM users. Do you worry where are those IAM users are getting stored? Why do we worry? Yeah. Generally, where do we store in the backend? Some database. But do we worry? These snapshots are also stored in, if you ask, hey AWS, where are you storing these backups? AWS said, none of your business. Yes or no? I am storing, but I'm showing you on the console or not? Now you said, no, please let me know. Where are you storing? Okay, I'll tell you, but don't take you to your heart. Just remember it. He said, snapshots are stored in S3. Where? Then Patak, what you did, you went to the AWS console, you checked S3, but there is no snapshots. That's why AWS said, don't take it seriously. Did I tell you your S3? Who's S3? AWS S3. He is storing somewhere in his backend in the S3, but he is visible for you. Snapshots are visible from console directly, but where it is getting stored? S3. Who's S3? AWS. Do you worry about it? Don't worry about it. Whose S3 is that? AWS S3. Getting it? Now this EC2 instance has availability zone or not? This is volume. Volume also has availability zone or not? Does the snapshot has availability zone? No, it's just a backup. It's just a backup. It doesn't have any availability zone. So now we have the snapshot. From here, you created another volume. Does also volume has another availability zone? Yes. Volume has availability zones. Does the snapshot has any availability zones here? Tell me, snapshot is regional or global? Snapshot is regional or global? Did I say to global? If I don't say anything, either you don't answer. Is it global or regional? Until I say global, don't consider anything as a global. Which is this? It is regional. Logic is EC2 is regional or global? What in EC2, whatever that we are learning till end of the EC2 service, everything is regional only, not global. Snapshot is regional or global? Regional. Okay, another question. Don't worry, I have wrote all these questions there. Okay, you created a snapshot. By default, this snapshot is public or private? Tell me, no problem. Tell, answer. Whatever you think in your mind, you should say. Louder. Exactly right answer. Correct. Because you launch one EC2 instance and you have the volume. Which volume? D drive. Let's say additional volume. And you put your confidential data inside it and you took a snapshot. By default, that will be public. So by default, everything in AWS is private. Remember that. If required, you can make it public. If required, you can make it public. By default, it is private. By default, it is private. Very good. Okay, now I'll give you one scenario. Listen this scenario and tell me how can you do this? I have one EC2 instance in Mumbai region. Which region? And I have a volumes here, root volume, additional volume. And I have a lot of data inside it. What is that? Lot of data. Which region? I have another region called Ireland region. Which region? Ireland. Now this also has root volume, additional volume. Or it also has a volume, root volumes, additional volumes. Now tell me, I want the same data here. I want whatever the data that I have inside this, I want that here. How can we do this? Wow, good. That is different. Don't get EFS here, but that is also possible. Another way. Huh? Take a wow, super, yeah. Take a snapshot and then move. Very good. Another one. Another one is, see, this very good, fantastic answer. Very fantastic answer. This is the volume or not? And this volume is in which region? So these volumes are regional or not? So if I want the same volume, right? If you want the same volume, I want it in Ireland. Volumes can be moved directly? No. What you need to create? Snapshot. And snapshot can be copied to another region. So in this snapshot, from this snapshot, again, I can create a volume or not? So snapshots can be copied from one region to other region. Volumes can be copied. Volumes cannot be copied. Which one is copied? Snapshots are copied from one region to another region. Got this point? You understand why? Let's say I have my production environment in Mumbai. I have pre-prod in Ireland. I want the same data. What will you do? I need to copy or not? So these are two different regions. Copy will work? No. What do you need to create? Create a snapshot, and that snapshot can copy to another region wherever you want. So the interview question here is, snapshots can be copied from one region to another region in the same account? Answer is yes. Okay, now another question. I have my snapshots in my account. I have my snapshot in my account. So now, where is Tarun? Absent, huh? Guru, Guru is here, right? So for example, Guru has AWS account or not? Guru has AWS account. So now I want to share. I have my data. I want to share it to him. Again through snapshots only, right? But here the thing is, snapshots can be shared from one account to another account also possible. Snapshots can be shared from one region to another region. Snapshot can be shared from one account to another account also. One account to another. Is it clear, guys? EBS volumes can be moved directly? No. What do you need to create? Snapshot. Very good. Is it clear till here? Getting it? Okay. Now, we have something called snapshot tier. What's that? Snapshot storage tier. Say that. Snapshot storage tier. Snapshot storage tier. Say that, Nana? Snapshot storage tier. As the name clearly said, what is this here? Storage tier. We have two types of. One is standard. Say that. Another one is archive. Say that. Standard archive. One more time. By default, the snapshots will be in which tier? Standard tier. In which tier, Nana? Standard. Archive tier meaning, let's say, you have the snapshots, but what you did is, I have my EC2 instance, I have data, I took a backup. Backup is nothing but snapshot. And I'm not using it. If you're not using it, unnecessarily, why you want to keep it in standard tier? Move it to archive. If you move to archive, what will happen? What will happen? Cost will be less or not? I can reduce the cost or not? Yes. So for that reason, please here, archive meaning here, to reduce the cost, you can move the snapshot to which tier? Archive tier. By default, it is in standard tier. If you don't want the snapshot, and if you don't want to pay more money, archive it to archive tier. Now tell me, my snapshot is in archive tier. Can you create a volume from it? No. So you need to restore it to standard. And from the standard, you can create the volumes. Understand the snapshot storage tier? How many types are there? Two types. What are those? Standard and then archive. And you know, again here, 70 up to 75% discount you get for archive. But it'll take a lot of time. I heard that it'll take a lot of time, 24 to 72 hours to restore. From where? From archive to standard. Maybe first time. Next time it will be faster. But two types are there, standard and archive. Which one is default? Ritesh, it will be there, however, very long, based on your. Okay. In your laptops, everyone has laptops, right? Everyone has laptops. If you delete something, where does it will go in store? Louder. Recycle bin is there or not? So we have the recycle bin. Yeah, recycle bin, trash. So trash is, let's say, call it as recycle bin. What is it? If you accidentally delete any files, all files will store in recycle bin. Now let's say, for example, we have snapshots. I accidentally deleted my backup snapshots. Previously, in olden days, once you delete the snapshot, it is gone. AWS recently launched a feature called recycle bin. What is that? You understand. What is that? If I could delete what? Snapshots. My snapshot will go and sit in recycle bin. But the question here is very super question. Listen carefully. Everyone in my account, so many testers, developers, DevOps, so many people, they are creating the backup. So many thousands of snapshots are there. And they are creating also, they are deleting also as a part of process. All those deleted snapshots should come to recycle bin, na? Unwanted. I have 1,000 snapshots. I want only important snapshots to come to the recycle bin. Can you tell me, out of 1,000 snapshots, how do I identify a snapshot? Using what? Using what? Huh? Coming near. We already learned in IAM. What is that? Tags. Fantastic. What is that? What is that? Tags are used for identification purpose or not? So now I have a snapshots. Whichever I want to come to the recycle bin, can I tag it or not? So let's say I have put the snapshot at name is equal to DevOps. So I can create in recycle bin, a recycle bin. Please go and check which the tag has name is equal to DevOps. If they got deleted, then only you bring it here. Rest don't bring it. We can create the rules like this. There are two types of rules. Number one is using tags. Another one is apply for all resources. Apply for all resources meaning all snapshots will come and sit here. Is that good? So use tags. Say that use tags are very important. Online, is this clear on the recycle bin? Okay. Let's say now to create a snapshot. What is snapshot? Point in time copy of the volume. So, or backup of the volume. To take a snapshot, do I need to stop the EC2 instance? No need. No need to stop. You can take the snapshot. Okay, let me give you one more scenario. You tell me the answer for this. I have so many snapshots. Sorry, I have so many volumes. EC2 instance. I have 100 EC2 instance. For all 100 EC2 instance, I have volumes or not? In that 100 EC2 instances, I have 50 EC2 instances. Inside that, I have volumes. I want only those volumes to be taken snapshots automatically in the midnight. How do you do this? Louder. Fantastic answer. What is that? Lambda. So because is it possible for you to do it manually? If it is not possible to do it manually, which is the service that we take? Lambda. Which is the service? Lambda. But we should say thanks to AWS that no need to use Lambda, because in Lambda we need to write the Python functions. I still remember in my olden days, I used to write a Lambda function, Python function to take the backups. But now AWS came up with a feature called Data Lifecycle Manager. Say that one more time. Data Lifecycle Manager. So what you need to do is you just need to go to this Data Lifecycle Manager. We call it DLCM in shortcut. What is that? DLCM. Create a rule or policy saying that, hey, here also we use out of 100 volumes, I need only 50 to take. What you need to use here? Tags. What I need to hear here? Tags. So go to the Lifecycle Manager, create a policy using what? Tags. And schedule it at what time? Night 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. And automatically, based on the tags that you have given, automatically that volumes will be taken the snapshots. By whom? By AWS. Using which feature? Data Lifecycle Manager. Say that. Data Lifecycle Manager. And by the way, recycle bin just now we learned, right? By default, recycle bin is not enabled. By default, recycle bin is not. If you Pusuk deleted snapshot, it is gone. If you delete the snapshot, it is gone. But if you are very intelligent, as you are my students, what should go and enable first? Recycle bin. Will you enable for all or only based on tags? Based on tags. That meaning tags are important. Managing the resources in tags is important or not? Remember that. Okay. So, one question. Few more minutes. Okay. Because we need to complete this. Let's say my source is not encrypted. Encryption we learned, right? Two ways that we can do encryption. What are those? Encryption in transit, encryption at rest. Fantastic. At now we are talking about volumes, right? Is it in transit or at rest? Rest. Very good. Which one? How do you do the encryption at rest? Using keys. Using what? Keys. Which keys? No. KMS. Which one? Which one? Remember encryption keys. Where do you create encryption keys? KMS. Full form. Key Management Service. Say that. Encryption in transit, that one, which service? ACM. Which service? ACM. Amazon Certificate Manager. This one is KMS. Getting it? Okay. If my source is not encrypted, destination is encrypted or not encrypted? Not encrypted. If the source is not encrypted, destination is also, say with me. If the source is not encrypted, destination is not encrypted. If the source is encrypted, destination is encrypted. If my source is not encrypted, I want destination to be encrypted. Can we encrypt it? Using which service? KMS. Using which service? And we use the option called copy option. Say that. Using what option? Using copy option, we can encrypt it. What option? If the source, let's assume, snapshot is not encrypted. And if you want to encrypt the snapshot, how do you do? What option? Copy option. In copy option, which service you use? KMS. Getting it now? Online, you getting it? Very good. So guys, remember, access keys, secret keys, those are also keys. Which service is that? IAM. Encryption keys, which service? KMS. Which service? KMS. Okay. The small thing is there. We have something called snapshot lock. What's that? Snapshot lock. What's the meaning of lock? We don't change it. We cannot edit, we cannot modify, we cannot change it. We can also log the snapshot. What we can do? Log the snapshot. So if you log the snapshot, can you delete it? So we have two modes we have. Governance mode, compliance mode. Say that. One more time. Snapshot lock, we have two. Governance mode, compliance mode. Governance mode meaning you can lock and you can unlock anytime. But if you go for compliance mode and if you Pusuk lock for 1 year, you cannot unlock for 1 year. After 1 year only you can unlock. Which one is better? Governance mode is better. Okay, is it clear? I'll stop it here. Online is clear enough. So quickly I'm saying here, see. Guys, here, see. 5-10 minutes, okay, no. If 10:30 exactly, I cannot finish it. Huh? But as the EC2 is bigger, that's otherwise we can finish every day, no problem. See, what is a snapshot? Point in time copy of the volume. So backup of the volume is called snapshot. And snapshots are created from EBS volume. So you have EBS volume. From there you create a snapshot. And from there again you create a EBS volume. Can you attach the snapshot to the EC2 instance directly? No. What do you need to do? Create a volume and then attach it. Is it possible to log in or use the snapshots? No. So snapshots are stored in S3. Snapshots are visible from EC2 console or not? Does the snapshot has any availability zones? No. Snapshot is regional or global? By default, snapshots are public or private? Can make it public if required. Can you copy the snapshot from one region to other region? One account to another account? Can one account to another account? Yes. EBS volumes can be moved directly. Now what you need to use? Snapshot. Snapshot, not Snapchat. Which one? Snapshot. Now here, EBS volumes are created from EBS snapshot. We have two types of volumes, so EBS volume and instance store volume. Instance store volumes are created from a template stored in S3. Say that. Just to remember it, we know it to go. Who will create instance store volume? AWS only, right? So AWS is using some template which is in S3. It is creating instance store volume. Okay. Do you remember Data Lifecycle Manager? What is this used for? To create the snapshots automatically. Say that. To create the snapshot automatically. We will be using what? Tags. Do you remember snapshot tires? Two types. What are those? Standard tire, archive tire. Do you remember recycle bin? By default, recycle is enabled, not enabled. So, and you can, retention period is 1 day to 1 year. What's that? 1 day to 1 year. That meaning your snapshots will be there in recycle bin for how many days? Maximum 1 year. You can set. Hey, this is fast snapshot restore. FSR. Say that. FSR. Say that. Fast snapshot restore. So this one is, if you have a volume which is 1 terabyte and you create a snapshot, 1 terabyte data will take time or not. But if you want to use the snapshot or volume immediately, you can go and enable FSR. But it is billable. Don't touch it. When I say billable, don't touch it. What is that? FSR. Now, if source is not encrypted, destination is not encrypted. If source is encrypted, destination is encrypted. If source is not encrypted, destination is, if you want to encrypt, what you need to do? Copy option. Which service? KMS. Last question I'll ask and I'll wind up. Listen carefully. I have one EC2 instance in 1A. Where? Online. I have EC2 instance in 1A. Volumes is also in 1A. I have another EC2 instance in 1B. Where? Where? Volume is also. Can you give me one name, movie name? Give me one movie name. Pushpa. Assume this Pushpa instance. 1A is in what? Which instance? Pushpa instance. In that volume, I have Pushpa movie. One more movie. Tell me one more movie. Huh? Huh? Game changer. Okay, Pushpa, game changer. Game changer. So I have game changer, and in that volume, game changer movie is there. I don't have movie. Huh? I'm just kidding. Game changer movie is there. Now what I need is, in Pushpa, I need game changer movie, and in game changer, I need Pushpa movie. How do you do? Super. What is that? Say that. We need to use snapshot. See, but I guessed it this Devara and the KGF. But okay, so assume that we have which one? Devara and then KGF. Now I have Devara movie here and then KGF movie here. Guys, can I remove this volume, attach it directly? No, why? Why? Okay. But these are in the same region. This is 1A, this is two different available zones. Volumes can be shifted. 1A volume can be attached to 1B. No, right? So for that reason, what do you need to do? Take a snapshot. From that snapshot, create a volume. And this volume should be created in which availability zone? 1B. So that I can attach to 1B. And I KGF, I take it snapshot, I take a volume, I create a volume. This volume should be in which availability zone? 1A and attach to here. So how to move the volume from one availability zone to another availability zone? Volumes directly move to another availability zones. What we need to use? Snapshots. What we need to hear? Super. Thank you for spending more time. Is it clear, Nana? Take the screenshots. Okay. And the next one. Snapshots. Okay. And the last. Remember, 1A volume cannot be attached to 1B. If you want to do it, you need to take a snapshot. And from there, you need to create a volume in another availability zone. Clear now? So what are the main topics we have learned today? EBS volume, instant store volume. Can you sing that song last for me? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, AC1, standard. So we have discussed about EBS volume, instant store volume, and jump, no jump concept, right? Right. And then we also discuss about snapshots, a lot of things in the snapshots, right? So please Don't forget all these things. Please do a revision. I'll forget this. Guys, see. Can you launch EC2 instance? Yes or no? You can launch. When you launch the EC2 instance, so guys, here we have 6 states. How many states? EC2 instance has how many states? 6 states. How many states, Anna? 6 states. Number 1, when you launch the EC2 instance, we call it as pending. It will go to running. Say that. Pending running. When you stop the EC2 instance, stopping, stopped. Say that. When you terminate the EC2 instance, shutting down, terminated. Say that. How many instance states are there? 6. What are those? Pending, running, stopping, stopped, shutting down, terminated. So please remember, or else tomorrow I'll cover that. No problem. Okay, so thank you for spending more time. Please expect these times because it's a huge course. I cannot complete exactly at 10:30. So time, please, 10 like this will happen. Okay. So can you give the final CC for today online, please? So that is all for today. Let's connect tomorrow with the continuation of this EC2. Until then, take care. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Okay.